This is Elaine from Nabi Studio. It's been a very, very long time, and I'm sorry it's been so long, but I'm back today, and I'm trying to do this as quickly as I can and work up the courage to definitely upload this. I have to say that I have actually tried to podcast several times, but many things have stopped me from uploading it, realizing that I sounded silly or whatever, and just working up the courage to put myself back out there. So I am deciding today, and for this one, that I am uploading this regardless of what happens. So hopefully I don't make so many stupid mistakes and things like that. So it's been at least a month and a half, I think, since I've last podcasted. And the last podcast was right before EYF. And I feel a little silly talking about EYF now since it's been so long. And the sun keeps filtering in and out. And I'm sorry the light keeps changing. But I do want to talk about EYF quickly and then work on to other things. This episode will be a little different where I will not have so much to show because I have finished quite a bit of things, but they've been stored away because it's been so long. And that is basically my usual MO. I finish a project, I wash it, I block it, I take photos when I work the courage up to do that. And then I basically put them away because I cannot have all these sweaters laying around, unfortunately. So, anyway, EYF. I went to Edinburgh on the Monday before EYF with my friend, and on our way there, when we were at the Zurich airport, we actually ran into Stephen West. He was actually on his way back to Amsterdam from New York, and so it was fun to see Stephen and have a little chat with him before we were going to see him again at EYF. And so that was that. So we had a few days, my friend and I, to kind of enjoy the city, relax, decompress, and get ready for the festival. So we started the festival Wednesday night, basically, by going to the knit night at ACVA. We didn't stay for very long, but I got to see some people that I met last year and just kind of hang out with my friend. And then we went back to, we actually switched. We were at a hotel in the beginning, and we switched to an Airbnb on Wednesday, and we had new roommates there waiting for us. Christine from Skaney Dipping, she actually set up the Airbnb, and we also, for the first time, met Ruth, Woolly Wormhead, and Becky from River Knits. So the five of us stayed in this Airbnb and basically had a lot of chats about all the things that are very current in the knitting community right now, talking about the race issue, inclusivity, white privilege, and things like that. And we also spoke about how test knitters are treated, and also the costs that are with the cost of a pattern from a designer's point of view. And we also talked about living differently as far as space-wise and economics, and but it was not all serious talk, obviously. So we had a lot of fun, and so Thursday was the start of the festival, and I had been invited by Joe and Micah with a podcaster badge, so I got early access. So I went there Thursday morning at 9, basically, and got in before the rush of the general admission of the marketplace. And I knew that there were certain things that I wanted to make sure I did before too many people got there, basically. So one of the big things that I wanted to see was the collaboration between La Bien-Aimée and Rosa Pomar, the Mondim. And so I wanted to see all the choices before any of them might have sold out, and I also wanted to get to look at them carefully without too many people fighting me at Amy's booth. So I did pick some up, and this episode I'm not going to show the stuff I purchased because it's sort of too much and crazy, And I'm a little uncomfortable doing that. And I will show the things as I use them and tell you if I've purchased them at EYF. So, and then right next to Amy's booth was Stephen and Penelope. So I got to see Malia and Stephen West. I got to see Westwool. That is my one regret, that I didn't pick up any Westwool. I'm not really quite sure. I must have blanked. I don't know. It felt really great. The colors were really nice. And I think it would be really interesting to knit up. And so I will be getting some of that soon. I'm just not sure when. And this light is really horrible. Anyway, so that was that. And I got to see Stephen again before his signing area was getting too crazy. So I picked up Hybrid Knits and had him sign it. And then I went on to enjoy the rest of the festival. There are things that I knew I wanted to see again. Used is one of them, and I picked up more stuff from them. And I basically walked around. I didn't think that I would be shopping so much at the festival itself, but somehow I did. I was really looking forward to the Make Wool on Sunday. That's when I thought the bulk of my shopping would happen, but I was wrong. My shopping happened every day. So Thursday was just lots of fun and meeting a lot of new people, seeing some people I've met before, and also meeting people that I know over the interworld, the internet world. So that was great. And then I did not go to the big night on Thursday night. I did not get tickets. Well, I did, but then didn't. Long story. But anyway, and then on Friday, went to the festival again. Actually went to the Ceilidh this time, not for a very long time, but got to see what the Ceilidh was like. And then on Saturday, I went to the festival again, but I did not stay for long because by the time Saturday came, I was pretty wiped out from the previous days, and I can't imagine what it's like to be a vendor there, because just walking around was exhausting, and the overload of, I guess, people and all the things to see and whatever. So that was that. And then Sunday I got to go to Make Wool, and I was really looking forward to that. And I also went to the talk about inclusivity and racism. The panel was great. I think it was a good start. I think it's a big conversation and a lot to fit in the short period of time we had. I think that there were probably a lot more comments and questions from the audience. Some of the people did get to speak and say things. I cannot say that I agreed with all the things that were being said, and actually wanted to respond to some of the things that I completely disagreed with, but I think it was a good start, and I hope the conversation continues, and that's my big wonder is how long this conversation will continue and how much will change with this conversation. So the festival is great. I had a really hard time getting home the following Monday because there was a lot of wind in Amsterdam, both flying to Edinburgh and back. I had to go through Amsterdam, and both times the wind affected me. When going was not as bad. I got there with a little delay, but it was not crazy. But the way home, I actually got bumped off the flight because of the wind, and so there was a lot of running around in panic at the airport. And with two kids at home, I really had to get home. Their grandparents were watching them, but they also had a schedule, and my husband was away on business. But after over 13 hours of traveling, I finally got back to Zurich. So that was that, and I was home for several weeks, and then the spring break came for the kids, so we flew to the States, and I got to see friends and my family and all those things. And one of the things that I've been trying to do every single time that I've gone back to the States for the over a year now was visit Paola at Mayak in her space in the West Village. So finally this time I did, and wow, what a space it is. It's really beautiful there, very tranquil, and it's sort of crazy how quiet and calm it is when you think it's in the middle of the city. And it's a huge space, and Paola and I had great conversation also, and was very interesting. We talked about all the topics that I had mentioned, that I had discussed at EYF also, but also just talking about different things in our community. It was interesting to hear what she had to say, and it was actually so good that I thought it'd be really great to have a podcast with her. She was also saying she was interested in starting a podcast, and we were actually going to do it, but it fell through at the very last minute. But this is to encourage you, Paola. You should definitely do a podcast, and I will definitely be watching it. And hopefully next time I'm back in New York, we can try to do our collaboration, and that would be great. So yeah, that was that. So when the town bag was released, I did order it, but it is really cost prohibitive to ship it here to Zurich. So I ordered it and shipped it to my parents' house, and I actually finally have my town bag in hand. So here it is. I actually got this one and the pecan. And I have to say, they're really great bags. I mean, I love the field bags. I'm a huge fan. But the town bag is somehow just a little bit bigger, but carries so much stuff. And I find that it basically does replace my handbag no problem. And I can bring all of my projects and all the notions I need. And it's really great. And I'm really excited about the olive green. I'm a big green fan, if you haven't figured that out from most of my sweaters that I've been knitting lately. And I really think the darker handle is going to really work well for me, because it won't show the dirt as much. So I'm really, really thrilled with that. And I also got the Wool and Honey Special Jen Hewitt yellow colored field bag. I'm not going to show that to you now because I have an avalanche of things, but you guys know what it looks like. So I picked up those 3 bags when I was in the States, and I'm glad I finally have them. And whenever I'm back in the States next, I'll get the olive one, because I know that I will use that a lot. So anyway, I'm not going to show my FOs really, but I will mention the FOs I've finished since EYF up to this date. So I was working on the Islander, which is a sweater that is not yet released from Skandir, Ellie, and it's an all-over color work, 2-color pullover, and I really love how it turned out. I modified it slightly, so and I can see that it's going to be something I can wear often. And yeah, it's great. And then I also finished the New Leaf sweater from Jen Steingass. That was a very quick test, and I managed to do it in, I think, less than 10 days. It's a fingering weight. It's been released now for several weeks, I think, or at least a week. And so that was really, really fun to do. And I actually saw the start of the design in mid-process at EYF, and Jen showed me her work in progress and her sketch, and I was really excited to get that on my needles, and I did. And it's also, I originally wanted to do a dark brown main color. I was going to use Daughter of a Shepherd. I've had Daughter of Shepherd in my stash for a couple years now, and I was really looking forward to using it. And I wanted to use this like bright hot pink as a contrast color, so I dyed that up on some Wensleydale. Unfortunately, the Daughter of a Shepherd didn't work out for me gauge-wise. It's a fingering weight, but for some reason for me it always seems to knit up more like a lace, a heavier lace, but still lace. So it was too open for me, and I actually ended up using just a natural color from Pearl Soho, the good wool, which I find is a great staple in my stash. I use it. It's sort of economical, I guess, or it is economical, and it's really great yarn. So that was that, and then, and just as a side note, I think that if you follow me on Instagram, that's the best way to see all of my work currently. I'm pretty current with that, and you can see all the FOs when they're released and the progress as I'm working on it, if it's something I can show, unless the designer says it's a secret test. So I finished that, and I finished my Amy sweater from Camille Levad. I used, you had to hold 2 strands of yarn. One of them was mohair. So I did that in a red, and it's also Nabi Wool Studio. It's a funnel neck, and it's really lovely. So you can see that on Instagram also. And I finished the Novelli tee. I started that at EYF. I purchased yarn for it, I believe, on the last day of the festival from Jameson of Shetland, and or I bought the 2 colors on the bottom color work, and I said that I'll figure out the main color when I got home, because I couldn't possibly get to the main color before I got home anyway, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to use those 2 colors, so I knew that I would figure it out once I got home. So I used the color Artichoke and Rye as the colorwork colors from Jameson, and then I had this green that I dyed up, Pistachio. It's a BFL silk for the top, so it really is a nice summery top. It's not too woolly for the summer, so it's a short sleeved colorwork sweater, and you can also see that on Instagram. And then recently I finished the Baker sweater from Yoko Shimizu, and that should be released next week, or in a few days actually. I think she said on the 22nd. So I used the BFL Gotland that I dyed up for that one, and it's another really wearable piece, so I think you should definitely check that out. And the construction was very interesting also. So that will be coming up soon, and you'll catch that on Instagram. And the other thing I finished the other day was a pair of socks from designed by Isabel from Olanas. And this is, I used a non-superwash sock yarn that I have. This is a Corriedale. So you can find, I believe I have one listing in my shop right now. It's the one dyed with avocado. This one was dyed with walnut. And so it's an all over lace pattern, and I believe she's releasing that in a few days. So check for that. So those are my FOs so far since EYF. I think that's pretty good, right? I actually felt that I lost a little bit of my knitting mojo after EYF. I wasn't sure if it was just the crazy excitement of being at a festival with all that yarn and so many people that understand my passion, and so it was a little harder to get home to real life, I guess, maybe. I thought that my knitting had slowed down, or I feel like I didn't have much progress, but now that I look back and tell you the things that I finished, I guess it's not bad for a month and a half to finish 4 or 5 sweaters and a pair of socks. So I believe I'm on at least 14 to 15 finished sweaters for this year, and a couple of pairs of socks and other things. So I have a lot more exciting things coming up as far as whips and future tests that I know that I've joined into, and excited about the summer and the things I'll be knitting up then. Right now I do have a couple of whips going, and one of them is a test knit for Thea Coleman. There's not much to show here yet because I just started it, but it is a sweater that is not named yet, as far as I know. And I purchased some Peace Fleece when I was in the States. And if you like Harrisville Designs yarn or Brooklyn Tweed, I think Peace Fleece will also be something that you will enjoy knitting with. I know that some people feel that Peace Fleece is a little rustic, or the word rustic is a little scratchy. I don't know if I'm just really used to very natural yarns, but I don't find it scratchy at all. I actually find it sort of soft, and I'm really enjoying that so far. So I'm looking forward to progressing with that. I am also working on, or trying to finish off, my Blythe sweater. So it is a colorwork yoke, and it is designed by Kim from the High Fiber shop, and this is using Jameson of Shetland again in the dark blue as the main color, and the green is actually, it's not showing up really well here, is the is the BFL silk that I also use for my Novelli tee as the contrast color. And I'm on to my sleeves right now. It's 2 at a time, so it's a little hard to show that. And I'm also working on a, this is not a test. This is a shop sample for Amy, Labianime. I don't know if you guys have heard, but several weeks ago, I guess about a month ago, she just had finished at a show, and her husband went for dinner, and someone broke into their truck and stole all the shop samples, which is really heartbreaking because, as we all know, knitting takes a lot of time and all the joy that's put into every stitch, and I think the value of our FOs and the FOs are more than the price of the yarn, definitely, and more than other people can understand. And so, and especially for a shop, she needs her samples to show everybody. So I texted her after I found out and said, please tell me what I can do to help. And so I'm knitting the Eula, the design from Isabel Kramer, for her out of the Mondim in the rust color. So I'm a little behind. I should be a lot further. So I'm gonna make it a priority right now. And those are basically the most current whips I have going. So I have tests coming up that require some DK and mohair. So I dyed up this, my favorite color, green, as one of my options. This is a BFL Masham, and I love green. Can't ever go wrong with green. Or I also dyed up this stony gray blue. There's mohair and the Masham BFL mix. I also have a gold mohair that I dyed up a while back that might go well with either the green or the blue. I haven't decided. I'll decide once I get the pattern, and I will talk more about it when the test starts. And I have other things happening very soon, and I'm actually dyeing stuff right now, and looking forward to showing you the stuff that I've come up with. So since EYF, after returning, I've really put more effort into working on dyeing again, putting stuff into my shop, and actually picturing or listing a lot of the things I've actually dyed up previously and never listed into the shop. So I did some of that, and well, tried to work more on different things for the shop also, and also to try to podcast more regularly. I think I say these things every episode, but I do want to work on this stuff, and I will make time for it. It's just life at home is very, it's very hard for me to schedule a lot of things because I don't know what will come up every day. With kids, it's a little hard to sometimes have a schedule, and life happens. So that's that, and I will have much more FOs to show next time, I believe. And hopefully the next episode will be more of my usual kind of thing with things to show and talk about. Oh, by the way, I wanted to say hi to Ellen, because I promised I say hello the next episode. And I'm so glad that you guys have come back. It's been too long, and I hope that the next time we speak it won't be so long, so far apart. But I promise that I will try extra hard, and hope that I have not been too awkward with this one, because I'm putting it up there. I'm uploading. I don't care. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for coming by. Bye.